I'm Elaine Sims. I'm on the campus of St. Catherine's College on this March Day, March Madness for Kentucky. I'm here in the Emily Hunley Library in the beautiful conference room, and I have with me now Kristen Bennett. Kristen is the Vice President of Advancement here at St. Catherine College. I think you'll remember, let's see, before we had Molly Smith, a few people, and which Kristen came in as the official Vice President of Advancement just how long ago? It's been
December 2nd.
December 2nd.
So just a few months now.
This is 4 months now. St. Catherine, being a private school, of course, is always fundraising, always applying for grants, always, you know, it's always a challenge. With every school, it's a challenge. And as we all know, even with state schools with funding, it's a challenge to keep your schools going. But you have a big job here.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You have a big job. Big shoes to fill. We loved Molly, but it's great that you came. We're going to talk about the golf tournament in a few minutes because that's always been a huge part of Advancement because it's a huge fundraiser. But let's talk a little bit about you first. Okay. You are a native of?
I'm actually a native of Ohio. So I was born in Southwest Ohio.
Okay.
My family is originally from Kentucky, around Black Mountain, Hazard, Kentucky.
Beautiful.
So I came back to my roots.
Wow.
But my husband and I, we were married in 1998, and shortly thereafter, we moved to Kentucky. So I've actually been in Kentucky about as long as I was born and raised in Ohio. Okay. So I kind of half and half, I guess.
Did his job bring you to Kentucky?
Yes, he is completely opposite than myself. He's a quality engineer, and so he works at Train Ingersoll Rand in Lexington.
Okay.
So.
Okay. You, your education before you're Vice President of Advancement, so
yes.
Your degree is in?
I have a Bachelor of Science in Communication and Information Studies from University of Kentucky. I have a Master's in Business Administration from Midway College.
Oh, okay.
And then now I'm pursuing my doctorate degree in Educational Leadership and Policy Studies at Eastern Kentucky University.
And you have a family?
Yes, I have 5 children. I have a blended family.
Oh, my. Okay.
No one ever believes me when I mention that, but yes, I have a family, and you know,
Your
like I said,
children are old enough that you can.
Yes, believe it or
this.
not, I have a 16-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 28-year-old, and a 31-year-old.
Wow,
So,
and you're 35.
Yes.
Wow.
So 3 of them are stepchildren.
No, you're not 35. You're 4 years older than your oldest child.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. So, well, this is a time in your life then you can do that. It's wonderful that you're motivated to do that because it's a challenge.
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
Before you came to St. Catherine's, you were at
Eastern Kentucky
University. So now you're making a drive. What brought you to St. Catherine's?
Well, one of the things that really drew me to St. Catherine is the fact that it's faith-based. That was very important to me. Prior to Eastern Kentucky University, I'd always worked in nonprofits, and every nonprofit that I worked for, you know, for example, Lexington Habitat for Humanity International, and Christian Appalachian Project, were all faith-based. And so I really missed that piece, and I really missed these smaller organizations because all hands are on deck, and it's more of a team effort, and I felt like I could make a more significant impact at St. Catherine than maybe at Eastern Kentucky University.
As far as being Vice President of Advancement, was that a challenge for you to take this job on?
No.
No.
With working at nonprofits, my experience is very diverse, and I also have 2 certifications from the fundraising school at the Center on Philanthropy in Indianapolis. So I have a certification in fundraising management, which teaches you from the bylaws up how to run a nonprofit, a fundraising organization. Then I also have my certification as a nonprofit leadership executive, which allows me to understand as a business, how do we work our budgets, how do we, you know, manage operations. So with that knowledge and then the direct experience of almost 17 years in fundraising, I've had my hand in alumni relations, marketing, communications, development, and so I felt like it was the natural progression for my career, and I knew I could make an impact.
Well, and for people that don't understand the internal works of a college, advancement is fundraising, which is it's not easy to ask for money, and
No,
it has to be
no.
something. Of course, I think I've done it before in my life, and it's you have to have a passion for what you're raising it for.
You
because
really
if you
do.
don't, you're not going to come across.
No.
You can't sell it unless you really truly. And my goodness, Habitat for Humanity. Look what that's done.
Exactly.
And you worked for them for
Exactly. Well, I worked for the Lexington Habitat for Humanity and then went to the state office. And in all, I think it was about 5 or 6 years in total. Because I went from the local
Wonderful
affiliate
experience.
to the state office.
Wow.
But you definitely do have to believe in the mission no matter where you work. You also have to make sure that you are also giving back, because I think it's hypocritical. If you are not giving, how can you ask someone else to give as well? And it's just a process. It's cultivating those relationships and bringing those dreams to whatever mission the organization together.
Yes.
So that you can further impact. So you definitely have to believe in it, and you definitely have to have a strong spirit.
Well, and you have to convince people that what they're doing is a worthwhile thing.
Exactly.
It's anybody can ask somebody for $100, but if you say, but this is exactly what it's going to be used for. I have something in mind for you.
Exactly.
And it's
and have that transparency and accountability.
Yes.
And
yes,
saying, okay, yes, you gave me that $100,000, and here's exactly what we used it for.
Yes.
Here are the pictures, here are the numbers, here are the reports, and build that trust.
Wow, you sound like you're perfect. Great. Great.
I don't think
great. Well, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. I mean, and I think people. I've said this many times on the show. I think people ride by here and see the progress that they have made here with the structures, but it's always a challenge for funding. Always, always.
Absolutely.
And to keep growing, we have put a major amount into this, to a lot of the buildings, but with wonderful donations from people all over the United States. Mm-hmm. But we still have to run it internally. Student education is the #1 priority.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of money that goes into that.
Exactly.
A lot of money goes into developing your infrastructure.
Without a doubt.
And I hope that's the right word for me to use.
Yes.
The golf tournament is 25 years.
Yes.
It's a huge fundraiser.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
It has changed so much over the years. I can remember when, John Michael Montgomery was at it one year, and we had it in the parking lot over by Bertram. We had it outside. But it's always been a great time for people to come together from the communities, but also to support golf. Now, in the early days, we had some pretty cool celebrities, and some people came because they wanted to meet the celebrities.
Yes.
And we had some good golfers and some baseball players and some basketball players that had notoriety. Mm-hmm. But it has grown where we have a silent auction.
Exactly. And one of the things that we're going to do a little different this year for the pre-reception is we are going to have the live silent auction, but we're also going to have an online auction as well.
Oh.
And it's going to be for certain items so that there's much more competition in those items. So we will actually have both. And that online auction will be prior to the actual reception. So it allows the competitiveness to be a little bit longer than just one night. So we're going to kind of, change it up a little bit. We're going to have some additional sponsorships to the overall golf tournament. This year we're going to have a sponsorship in addition to the team sponsorships. And I can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and you can talk about what that means to be a sponsor, but go ahead.
But we're going to have a food sponsor, a media sponsor, and also a reception sponsor and a tournament sponsor. And that is typical with most golf tournaments, trying to get those additional sponsorships in addition to the team sponsorship. So,
Have we had those before?
No.
Okay.
This will be the first time. So that was one of the ways when I really looked at several things within our office and really did a development audit, so to speak. That was one of the things for that event that I thought, okay, we can enhance it in these ways.
So that would really be 4 major sponsors.
Exactly.
Okay.
In addition to the teams. Currently what we have for the teams is a gold sponsor is $5,000. This is for 4 individuals. The silver sponsor is $2,500. and the bronze sponsor is $1,500.
Okay.
You can also sponsor 2 holes with sponsor signs for $250, or 1 hole for $150.
Have we done that before? We have gold?
We have had those.
Okay.
It's just the things that are different is the online auction, and then also with the actual, because most, like at Habitat for Humanity, it was the Liberty Mutual Invitational.
Okay.
And so when we had Canes that sponsored the food. So that's kind of, the addition
Okay,
I'm wanting to
okay,
bring,
okay.
so that it's even, we have an even greater impact
Are
for
you
the
able
students.
to mention the sponsors that you have?
Not yet.
Yeah,
And we do have
okay.
some pretty significant celebrities, that we
Cool.
have. I've already committed. So
Good.
we'll kind of, bring out some of that information along the way.
Okay.
But I really wanted to make it really even more significant, build on the success of the past. Never want to forget that. But with it being the 25th,
Yes.
silver anniversary, I just really wanted to kind of.
Well, and my
grow on
experience
that.
is too, when you do something every year, that's a challenge.
Yes.
Because some people say, well, I know exactly what to expect.
Yes.
And it's hard. It's hard.
Exactly.
And no matter what you're doing, you do it every year, and you eventually start losing people because they just feel like they've, been there, done that.
Exactly.
So this makes it very exciting. How are you going to advertise this? I guess, how do we get the word out about this? I guess word of mouth is always great, especially in small communities. But
without a doubt, one of the ways is through communicating with the current individuals that we're connected with. So
Okay.
we're sending a save the date postcard.
right, and we got that. I think we've gotten something.
Well, there was an e-blast. I use Constant Contact.
Okay.
So there was an e-blast, but the formal save the date has not been sent out yet.
Okay.
So that will be sent out next week. So we'll have that. We will also be in certain media spots as well, in the local newspapers. And we're looking at a few other advertising options that I can't share right now.
Okay.
But that's the biggest thing. We also will have registration online as well. So there are a lot of individuals that do like the paper and do like to send in, the hard copy checks and have the flyers. So we will have the flyers as well that will go out, and the envelopes for when they send back in their, their sponsorships. But I want to also do the registration online. And so sharing through Facebook and social media is going to be a big part of bringing awareness as well. And of course, word of mouth.
Now, being in the summer, of course, what about, do you get volunteers from the golf, from the golf teams here and stuff?
Historically, most of the volunteers have been staff.
Okay.
Our current golf team, that we have. What I'm wanting to do this year is kind of up the volunteer roles and go outside. So I'm starting to work on and who we're going to ask as far as volunteers. But yes, any volunteers from the community are very welcome, because that is one of the biggest pieces that I think have been weak in the past, is not having enough volunteers.
Sure.
And with an office of 2 people, any volunteers that we can have in our corner is
And the thing about volunteers, some people feel like they have to be asked to do it, but I think for people, I know a lot of people that, of course, play golf that probably would volunteer, but it just, again, getting that word out is important.
Exactly.
And letting people know they don't have to be asked; they can always call.
Exactly.
Call.
And wherever they feel that they fit.
Yeah.
I'm good with people. Can I be at the registration?
Sure.
Just having an extra smile, an extra set of hands, just a willing heart is the best thing.
And advancement, you all have your own phone number. You're not calling directly into the college.
Yes, I can give you that phone number if you'd
But yeah,
like.
and that will be on the screen. But if people still get confused and don't have that, and then I think I wrote it in my phone book. But if that, they can always still call the main number, and they will give you will give you the number to get in touch with you.
I agree with you.
We haven't talked about the date.
Okay, so this year it is June 19th is the pre-reception, and the 20th is the actual Golf Classic tournament at Lincoln Homestead.
At Lincoln Homestead.
And
it starts early in the morning.
Yes, typically it's always been at 8 o'clock, and then it starts, registration 8 o'clock, and then it starts at 9 o'clock.
So lunch is provided, I assume.
Yes,
coffee,
yes.
And after the tournament is over, it's usually over before dinner time.
Usually,
in the evening.
yes. Usually.
Okay. Anything else you want to?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak with you and speak with the community. Any support is very, very significant. From just calling the advancement office and giving ideas, to volunteering, to providing financial support. It takes a village to make an impact.
Yes.
And so we need the entire community and beyond to support St. Catharine College.
And if someone out there has something that they think they would like to donate, I think, you know, give Kristen Bennett a phone call and discuss that with her.
Yes.
I don't know that anything would be inappropriate, but there might be some people there that have something and think, well, you know, I've had this, it's worth several $100s.
Exactly.
And I've never used it, or it's been barely, you know, have minimum amount. Give her.
Absolutely.
Put it in on the silent auction.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's a tax deductible thing, but we are nonprofit, so.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The gifts are tax
Yeah, don't
deductible.
hesitate to do that, because I've got something I could donate.
Okay.
That I keep thinking I'm going to give to somebody.
Wonderful.
It's
Thank
not
you.
that big of a deal, but still, I mean, you know, if it brings $25, it's
Exactly.
worth it.
It's $25
That's
we didn't
right.
have before.
That's right. That's right. What does the money go for with this project? I think people need to know that.
It goes to the organization as a whole to help with moving forward student success. So it's a general fundraiser that is specifically focused to student success.
So by that you mean?
It can go to scholarships.
Okay.
It can go to a variety of different programs that help students. It is a general fundraiser. So it's not, you know, some fundraisers will be specific. Okay, it's for this scholarship. This is more general.
Okay. Okay. Okay, well, good luck. I mean, I think it'd be a great, again, this year we're here for this. We weren't last year. It's always a fun night. It's
Yes.
always a fun night.
Yes.
And we don't golf, but it's fun. It's a great time to catch up with the St. Catherine's family.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
the people that we don't see, because we have great participation from Marion and Nelson County. But then also you have people that come in from other parts of the state that have allegiance to St.
Yes.
Catherine's, and
Yes,
also
we
to
do.
golf, which is
Yes.
it's a wonderful sport.
Yes.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice
Thank you.
meeting you too.
Thank you for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank
Okay.
you.